Hello, my friends. Well, we are at the 5th day of February, already 5 days in. It is 2019 and it is Tuesday. And I am going to start as I like to try to start. And I'm going to read a couple verses from Romans. On my channel, I try to speak a lot about America, which we live in. I've always been patriotic. I've always, loved my nation and tried to serve it. Joined the Army when I was just out of high school. So I've always had a special place in my heart for America. Do not put it above God, because we're not supposed to put anything above God, because then you get into the realm of idol worship. And we definitely are not to do that. But there's nothing wrong with being patriotic and being a Christian. I did a video probably a month ago with that very subject in mind. If you want to go back and look at it, it's very good. Go back and give it a look. But the last few weeks, so much has happened in America with abortions, the law being passed, especially in New York and other states, wanting to follow in their footsteps by passing late-term abortion laws. And we're seeing so much. I did a video yesterday about the left in America. I didn't want to focus on liberals or progressives or socialists. I just wanted to focus on the left. And I wanted to explain in that video what the left actually is. People get confused and they always want to group like liberals and progressives in with the left. And to a certain point that is true. But the left within itself is a much more radical, much more, you can't say fringe now. You can't say they're on the fringe of the Democratic Party, because that is no longer the case. They are the Democratic Party. They are taking over the Democratic Party. And that is very dangerous for this nation, because as I did a couple videos before that, godless and lawless. Those are two words that come to mind when I think of the left. They are godless and lawless. And this nation is getting so far away from Jesus. We're getting so far away from what he taught us and what he told us that it's not even a laughing matter. Not that it ever was. But let me read you a couple verses from the book of Romans. We're going to start in chapter 1, on verse 18 actually. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness, because what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were they thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools. Let me read that to you. Verse 22. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the incorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man, and birds, and four-footed animals, and creeping things. Therefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness, which we see right now, and the lusts of their hearts, which we see right now, to dishonor their bodies among themselves. One more time. Therefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness and the lusts of their hearts, to dishonor their bodies among themselves. My friends, there's always scripture to back up what you're seeing in this world today. This was written thousands of years ago, and it is known and it fits what is going on today. It fit what was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah when Lot fled with his family, and it is happening today. So we have to understand why they are doing what they are doing. Some people call it globalism. To an extent it is. What I believe is going to happen is they want to ring in the one world government, the one world monetary system, and of course the one world religion. But I digress. That's not the point that I want to make for this video. The point I want to make for this video is, again, America is getting so perverse and so out of touch with God that things that were unfathomable even 10 years ago are not only here, but they are in your face. They're being pushed on our children. They're being pushed in our education systems. They're being pushed on our televisions. They're being pushed in our media. They're being pushed on the internet. These ungodly practices of the left are being pushed on every American. Some do it subtly, and some of it is right in your face. I'm going to make a point of something that personally I've never even heard of, and thought when I did hear about it that it was some kind of fringe thing, something that maybe 100 people did in the United States. If that, I didn't even really think that, to be honest, when I heard this story. I didn't even think it was true. But I was in the doctor's office this morning, very early, and I was sitting next to a gentleman and an elderly lady. Both of them were probably maybe in their late 60s. And they were talking about how one of them had seen a story that they could not grasp, that it could not be true. And the gentleman went on to explain this story to the lady about how people today are falling in love and marrying inanimate objects. One boy married his car. Another lady married a piece of equipment in the back of her yard that when her husband passed away, I guess he was in construction or something along them lines, there was a piece of equipment sitting in the backyard. She fell in love with that and she married it. And same thing with the boy. And they have relations with these vehicles, with these inanimate objects, sexual relations. They've married these things. Now you tell me that that's not perversion, that is not from the deepest pits of hell to do your mindset like that, then nothing ever is. I mean, this is what America's become. Now, of course, you're probably thinking the same thing that I thought when I heard this story. First, I thought it was hogwash. I thought, oh, come on, I mean, that's really getting out there. And then I thought, well, maybe if it is, it's just these two people, maybe a handful. No, there's a whole community on the internet of people that actually, I don't know if you want to call it making love. I don't know what you really want to call it, to be honest with you, but they actually have relationships with automobiles, with refrigerators, with just inanimate objects, just whatever your mind could imagine. Couches, chairs. One guy loves his chair. They don't go to a priest and marry these things. They have these ceremonies where they exchange, I don't know how an inanimate object exchange vows, but somehow they marry these vehicles, and they marry these ovens and stoves and couches and bulldozers and all these things that these people fall in love with. But my point is, this is 2019. This is what we're living in today. This, my friends, is what ungodliness is. This is what Romans chapter 1 is talking about. When it says that he will give you up, as it says here in 24, it says, as plain as day, therefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness and the lust of their hearts to dishonor their bodies among themselves. This is exactly what it's talking about. Now, of course, it's also talking about the other perversions we see in America today, and I can't go into great detail on those because YouTube will ban this video or they'll take it off because I, as a Christian, you're not allowed to talk about, and you got an idea what I'm talking about, but you're just not allowed. You get strikes, you get your video taken down. So you can have your mind pretty well much figure out what I'm talking about, the other perversions that I'm talking about. It has gotten to the point that we are seeing this every day. Like I said, it's being pushed on us every single day in every way. It's being pushed in our face, on our televisions. It's being pushed in our media, our news, everywhere. And the thing is, it's being made out as it's normal. Now, I'm not specifically talking about these people, marrying their vehicles and stuff like that, but give it a couple years. That'll be mainstream. Give it a couple years. It'll be mainstream. One other quick thing I want to make a note before I end this video is I saw a march, meaning a protest march. It's been a while back, a few months ago, and I made some notes to do it in a video when I got to a video for this type of a video, meaning, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. But I remember in this march, they were marching, and these were, Democrat, like I said, the far left of the Democrat Party. And they were marching. They had a huge banner in the very front of the line. And there was probably a couple hundred people in this march. And on the banner, they had NAMBLA. Stop persecuting NAMBLA. They cannot help it. They were born that way. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with that group, but basically what that is, it is a child molesting organization. It is an organization where grown men are sexually attracted to children. And there's an association. They actually have an association. Okay, NAMBLA. I believe it stands for North American Man Boy Love Association. North American Man Boy Love or something like that. I don't follow that junk, obviously, but my point being is they're trying to normalize that by saying they can't help it. Well, why can't they help it? Well, because God made them that way. Okay? Go back to the 1970s if you're old enough. Think of another group that they started saying the same thing about. That is now completely normal. That they have normalized it to the point that it's just a cup of coffee. Think about it, what I'm talking about. Now, fast forward to 2019. Well, this might have been 2018. Actually, it was when I saw this. They're starting to do the same thing with this pedophiles. They're starting to say they were born that way. They can't help it. You understand where I'm getting at with this? You understand me? This is America. My friends, this is exactly. Therefore, God also gave them up to uncleanliness and the lusts of their heart to dishonor their bodies among themselves. Romans 1. That is verse 24. My friends, America is in trouble. And there's only one way. There's only one way. And that's Jesus Christ. That's it. I've said it so many times. There's no other way. No other way. No Buddha. No this, no that. This. Christ. That's it. That's it. That is it. And one more quick thing. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. It's not a lot. I've only got 80 some now. But if I can reach 100 subscribers, I will give one of my subscribers one of these new Jesus shirts. I have them in black, and I got ones in white too. So try to crack 100. It's very small, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very small amount. But I have several of them. They're brand new. And yeah, crack 100. I'll pick a subscriber, and I'll mail it to you. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. I'm out of here.